In this video, we are going to talk about 3 stocks to watch for October 2019. If you do like these videos, I would really appreciate if you could give our channel a subscribe and as well as a like down below. That really helps the channel out. Without any further ado, let's move on to our first stock for October 2019, which is ticker symbol HDB. This is HDFC Bank in India, and this is a stock that we looked at in September 2019, so obviously just last month. It's one I've been keeping an eye on, and this is one that a friend of mine told me about, and so I figured I should look into it a little bit. And I actually really like this stock. It is an international stock, as I mentioned. It's from India. At the time last month when we were looking at it, it was trading around $105 per share. On September 20th, they announced some new business tax laws in India where corporate tax rate changed from 30% to 22%, in a way to stimulate the economy in India and really just position themselves more in line with what other Asian markets, what their corporate tax rates were. And so this kind of puts them in nice competition with them and keeps them in line altogether. When this news unexpectedly broke on September 20th, the share price for HDB went up over 10% overnight. And so at one point it was around $112 to $117, where it was at $105, earlier that month. So it really took nicely to that news. And within days, though, which was kind of like some of you, you might not know what happens when a stock splits. This stock actually did split in half, and so it put it at $58 a share. Just a few days after that news broke. In another video, I'm going to go over what happens when a stock splits, but in case you really have no idea, essentially it can be a negative thing, especially when you're dealing with penny stocks. But essentially, I think this is actually a positive for the stock, and it really, it increases the number of shares outstanding. So the amount of shares that are available for stock investors to purchase, and it also lowers the share price, making it more attractive to buyers. So someone that doesn't have a huge amount of money is going to be able to buy more shares, and so it might be a more attractive buy for those types of individuals. Anytime you're dealing with emerging markets and basically countries that aren't the United States, essentially you just want to definitely be careful about how much money you're putting into those companies. And this is a company, though, that I through my research I really feel comfortable with. It's a bank. It's used throughout India and in other areas as well. But I'm going to be looking to add a very small position of this, especially if it would drop closer to the $55 mark. But I'm just going to keep an eye on it because I like the direction that the economy is going. I feel, especially with this tax break that these large companies now have, which ultimately is going to stimulate the economy with more jobs and more opportunity. Moving on to the second stock for October 2019, which is ticker symbol UBER or Uber. I'm sure most people have heard of Uber, especially if you live near or in a city. Even if you're not, Uber is probably still prevalent in your small town. I know it is where I live, and I don't live in a very big town. And so I think that is definitely important for this company. When thinking of Uber, you probably are thinking them as just a ride-sharing company, that helps someone get from place to place, and that is a big portion of what they're doing, but there's a lot of growth happening as well. Uber actually is growing in their food delivery business. They're doing some crazy amounts of self-driving research, which I find interesting, and as we look to the future of what cars are going to look like, could be very interesting. And most recently, there are connecting freight carriers, so like owner-operators of big trucks, with shippers, which could be a real game changer in that industry, as they're really trying to disrupt the market for owner-operators. Being able to use the app to know where and when loads need to be taken and taking those jobs. And what Uber's doing right now is they're providing this at a much lower cost than other companies that are currently doing this. I'll link the description below, but Jeremy from Financial Education did a lot more in-depth look at why he's excited about Uber in the years to come, even though the stock has taken a dive, as we're going to look at here in a second, over the last couple months that it's been around. This stock IPO'd on May 10th, 2019, which isn't that long ago, and it is down more than 30%. So that is, quite a bit in just a few months. But I think that's kind of why I'm thinking it could be at a good buying point. I bought a few shares around $31. We'll definitely be interested in buying a few more if it does go under $30. I think that definitely could be a good play, especially as you're thinking long term, because all the things that are involved with this company. So their direct competition is Lyft, clearly in the United States. Now, obviously, there are other companies outside of the United States, but here it definitely is Lyft. I also see Tesla with the whole self-driving and how that works over to Uber and Lyft and transporting people, items, food. It could all get very interesting in the next couple years on who becomes the big player in that as well. So there's definitely some risk in this stock, but the prices that it's currently trading at is getting attractive. And so if you're thinking long term, I think it could be at a pretty nice price, because I don't see Uber going anywhere for the long term, even though you always risk lawsuits and things that happen along the way. I do think this is a company that might be at a good buying point. And the last stock for October 2019 is ticker symbol APLE, Apple Hospitality REIT. This is the third time this stock has made the list. There's a reason for that. I think it's a somewhat stable stock, and it's one that I think just has potential, and I really like the monthly income, as I'll go into that again. So I don't want to bore you with it too much, since I have talked about it several times, but I am going to just spend a little bit of time. I'm still buying this stock and expect it to drop after its ex-dividend date, which will be at the beginning of October. So the stock probably will drop a little bit, and it usually does, since it is a monthly paying real estate investment trust. So essentially what they do is Real Estate Investment Trust rents the building. This one in particular rents buildings to hotels, and it is a portfolio that is growing for them. They're buying more and more buildings, or building more buildings. I'm not sure which one it is. And hotels are putting their businesses there, and obviously, paying this company in order to be there, them rent. So I'll be putting out a video more on real estate investment trusts and how they work, because they are very interesting. Especially if you're interested in getting into real estate property. It's a way that you can kind of have your way in real estate without truly actually owning, a house or a building that someone's using. You can be part of something part of a group of people that are doing that. So without all the hassle of having to fix things when things go wrong. So I like this company's business model, obviously, that I've said. The monthly income that it produces, which is 10 cents a share. So every month it pays 10 cents per share. So for example, if you had 10 shares, you would make $1 off of those 10 shares each month, so $12 in the year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you start accumulating shares, that can definitely add up, and especially if you buy it at the right time and the price jumps. It could be a great investment. So the last thing is I'm looking to hold my shares until it would eclipse that $17 mark, and then looking to buy more under $16.15, especially under $16. I think if you can get this under 16 right now, I think it's a great deal. Their earnings report's not till November, I believe, and so you know, that'll make things a little interesting too. But usually they, you know, in the past it has shown that this last, you know, second to last quarter has been pretty good for this company. So it will be interesting to see how that all plays out. That is it. Sorry I got a little long-winded. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back for more videos. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like the video below. That really does help it out. And as always, I'm Layman, and these are my terms.